Folks, you can bring your strollers with you. Just choose the right-hand lane. You can keep that small and choose to stay to the right.
Hi,
Hi.
is it tram ride?
Yes.
It's Backlot Tour. My name is Stephanie. I'll be your tour guide today. Before we get started, though, I need to do a quick sound check. So if you can hear the sound of my voice, please give me a big Disney wave all the way towards the front. Great. Looks like everybody can hear me. Now that we know you can hear me, you can hear my words of warning. For those of you sitting on the right, you have a slight chance of getting wet today. But not as wet as those who are sitting on the left, because that's where the water comes in from. Yes, the left-hand side does tend to be the wetter of the two sides. If you'd like to change places, now's a great time to do so, because once the shuttle begins to move, standing up and trading places is not permitted. I'd like to officially welcome you all to the Disney MGM Studios. We are the Florida counterpart to the Walt Disney Studios, located out in Burbank, California. Now, we'll see a lot of strange and unusual things today on our tour, but we do ask that you please remain seated at all times, holding on very tightly to all your personal belongings. For the courtesy of those around you, smoking is not permitted. But if you have a camera or a video camera, go ahead, get them out. You can use them on our tour today. You never know who or what you might see here on the back lot. Half the time, we're surprised ourselves. As I mentioned before, my name is Stephanie, but I'm only half this team. We'd be sitting here forever if it wasn't for our wonderful driver, Peter. He's going to safely navigate us throughout the back lot today. Just help him out by remaining seated at all times. It's also very important that you keep a firm grip on all of your personal belongings. Now, should you happen to drop something over the side, give me a wave up to the front. I'll wave back at you. Together, we'll wave goodbye to your item. Unfortunately, we are unable to stop on the tour route and pick up whatever it is that you have dropped. Thank you, Melissa. Peter, we're all clear. However, we will send someone out at the end of the tour to go retrieve what is left of your item. Now notice I did mention what was left of your item. That's because there are 26 tires on the shuttle. There are 2 other shuttles out there. Those tires are much better at finding things than we are. Now by a show of hands, how many of you are on this tour for the very first time? Oh wow, quite a lot of you. All right, hold. Excuse me, I can't even speak today. I'd like to welcome you to the Backlot Tour. For those of you rejoining us, we have lots of new and exciting things to see. We're going to start off our tour with the symbol and the landmark of the Disney MGM Studios. Take a look high up in the sky towards the front left of the shuttle. You'll see our award-winning Eiffel Tower. Now, its design is based on the one that Walt Disney had built for him at his Burbank Studios back in 1939. Ours, however, stands a lucky 13 stories tall and is capped off with a pair of Mickey Mouse ears. Each one of those ears weighs over 5,000 pounds, and its 28.5-foot diameter translates into a hat size of 342 3/8. Now, how do I know the hat size of a water tower? Well, in holiday season's past, we capped it off with a red and white stocking cap. Now, the Disney MGM Studios is much more than a theme park. We're actually a fully functioning film studio. We feature outdoor sets, sound stages, state-of-the-art recording facilities, and editing rooms, all the amenities needed to make a major motion picture, television show, commercial, or to do a live radio broadcast. There's always something happening here at our studios. Today is no exception. We have a special effects team in from Hollywood, and they are currently testing some special effects out on one of our sets in the back lot. Now, unfortunately, the set that they chose to work on is actually the set that we usually stop at on the tour. And unfortunately, today they have asked us to avoid the area due to a few safety precautions, so I'm sorry to say we will not be able to go into that set. However, there is a small amount of hope, because the production coordinator did mention that if they were on a break, they will allow our shuttles to go through. So our driver, Peter, will be in contact with the production coordinator. Keep your fingers crossed, he's going to do his best to get us inside. In the meantime, take a look off to your right. These are 2 surviving P-40s left over from Touchstone Pictures' blockbuster hit Pearl Harbor, starring Ben Affleck. Now, these were taken from the mold of a real P-40, and they were produced in fiberglass over steel frame. Their wooden propellers were spun by hydraulic motors during the film's dramatic attack and action sequences. The production crew built 16 of these full-scale replicas for the film, and if you saw the film, you might be saying, I know I saw a lot more than 16 planes. You're absolutely correct. However, the majority of the planes that you did see were generated by a computer. As we round the corner, take a look off to your right, high in the sky. That's your best eye full of the Eiffel Tower. And now we're headed indoors into my favorite part of our studios. This is our award-winning creative costuming department. The entire process does begin with the designer sketch, which you can see along the walls, on either side of the shuttle. From there, our talented tailors and seamstresses go to create the finished garments. On the left, you'll see displays of our work from Gone in 60 Seconds, The Sixth Sense, The Shirley Temple Story, Dizzy's the Kid, and Unbreakable. With over 250 skilled professionals, we have the largest on-site working wardrobe in the world. It works with 1.5 million yards of fabric each year to generate approximately 25,000 costumes. You can add that number to our already 3 million in our closet. Next up is the scenic department. Now the next 4 rooms coming up on your left are used by the various production companies who use our sound stages for filming. This is where they store a lot of their props and also build their sets before taking them across the street and into the sound stages. Coming up on our right, we'll be passing by a blacklight painting room, and they are beginning to work on 2 murals for our Star Tours attraction here at the studios. The last room on the right houses some props from Disney's George of the Jungle and the Atlantis meet and greet. And to see where those were made, take a look over to your left. This is our main scenic shot. Now you may also notice some little purple dragons in there. That's Figment over from Epcot. He will be going into the new Journey into Your Imagination attraction over at Epcot. Now that main scenic shop has been responsible for building the Wheel for Wheel of Fortune sets for WCW Wrestling, the Rosie O'Donnell Show, the new Mickey Mouse Club, and just recently, Live with Regis and Kelly. You know, one of the most wonderful things about the movies is that they can take you to virtually anywhere, from the house next door to a dangerous canyon, even underneath the sea. Now we're going to venture deeper into the backlot and visit just a few of those places I've mentioned. To start off with, let's say that we wanted to film an undersea adventure. We should head for this green canopy on the left. It houses the underwater special effects tank. It resembles a large swimming pool. It's even heated, but the bottom has been sculpted to look like the ocean floor. This provides a safer, more controllable environment to film in than doing so in nature. Last October, it was used by America's Most Wanted while they were here filming a couple of segments for their show. Looks like we've made our turn onto Residential Street, although many people told me they'd like to come live here at Walt Disney World. Before you pack your bags and move in, take a look through this first house on the right. You'll notice that there are no insides and definitely no backs to any one of the homes, making them true open houses. This is because these are all facades or false fronts. They're only used for exterior shots in any type of production. In fact, the second house on the right, number 242, which is currently under renovation, this one was used for the exterior shots of Burns' house in the Christmas classic Ernest Saves Christmas, starring Jim Varney. That was our first major motion picture shot right here at our studios 1 year prior to our park opening for guests. Now, all the homes that you'll see here on Residential Street have been used in television shows and commercials. A few have even made it onto the big screen. They also reflect different styles of American architecture, because different scripts call for different types of homes. Well, this first house on the left, second house on the left, the beige Hawaiian style home, was perhaps our most famous because for 7 seasons it was home to the Emmy Award-winning Golden Girls, Dorothy, Rose, Blanche, and Sophia. All the exterior shots were done here on this backlot, then combined with interior footage shot on a soundstage out in California. Coming up on the left is a blue 2-story home that belonged to Alice in the educational series Adventures in Wonderland. Across the street from that is the home of the Wacky Westons from Empty Nest. When a production company goes on location to film, they do encounter some problems that they can't avoid, such as traffic and noise. So to avoid these complications, they prefer to shoot on a backlot, just like the one we've driven through. Coming up on our left is a small town country church, but appearances really can be deceiving. What happens to buses after they're chased after, smashed out, and blown apart? Well, they end up on what we call a boneyard, which is an outdoor attic to house our oversized props until they're needed for another production. Coming up on our right, you'll see 3 totem heads from the 13th Warrior, starring Antonio Banderas. Spaceship on the corner was filmed by Christopher Lloyd as my favorite Martian. The big rock in the back is just a small piece of the asteroid from Armageddon, and the miniature cattle car was used for some special effects scenes in Disney's Mighty Joe Young. The airplanes from our Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular here at the studios, with the vehicles surrounding it on either side are from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. As we pass by the tank, take a look at the tread. It's made out of foam rubber instead of metal. That saved a lot of wear and tear on Harrison Ford, who prefers to do his own stunts. 2 mining cars from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Futuristic forklift from Bicentennial Man. From the Academy Award-winning Who Framed Roger Rabbit, we have Judge Doom's infamous Dipmobile. Also from that same film is an orange Pacific Electric trolley car, which is nothing more than a modified city bus. Those are not steel wheels or fiberglass coverings that were used to hide the bus's radial tires. The 3 blue Plymouths are also from Who Framed Roger Rabbit, showing the different stages of destruction to that one vehicle in the film. The yellow helicopter was flown by Bill Nye the Science Guy for Ellen's Energy Adventure at Epcot. Helicopter cockpit for the movie Blue Thunder. 2 prop planes from Disney's The Rocketeer. Now the long black speedboat was custom built for Disney Presents The 100 Lives of Blackjack Savage. In the sci-fi department, we have 2 training shuttles from Starship Troopers. Well, my favorite is the silver space pod on the end. That's Max from Disney's Flight of the Navigator. Now, from the direction that Peter is taking us, oh great, we have gotten the clearance to go inside the set. Now this is wonderful because we are one of the very few tour shuttles to actually make it inside today. Now we are going to be going over a very old wooden bridge. It does get very bumpy, so please remain seated and hold on tight. I'm not sure how long we'll be able to stay in here. We may even just be able to drive through, so we'll just see what happens up ahead. This canyon was actually modeled after a canyon out in Southern California. It took the production crew about 6 months to build this standing set. That is a long time for a standing set to be built, but if you consider how long it took Mother Nature to do the real thing, well, it's really not that long at all. Directly above us from where we're traveling, there's a platform. This is where they mount their cameras from. That way they can get a great view of the action taking place inside the canyon. And it does appear as though we're slowing down. Feel free to take as much film and video as you like. All that I'm going to ask though is that you please remain seated. We may have to leave at a moment's notice in case crew needs to go back to work. Tell you a little bit about that oil tanker that you see out there. That was once in our boneyard. Now you may have noticed that there are no roads that go across this ravine. Now the director insisted on having this oil tanker in here for this shot. So we had to rent a crane to hoist it up and over the canyon wall to deposit it inside. Now had there been a road, we would have actually been able to drive that across. That oil tanker still actually runs. That's a pretty neat system. Now you may notice that there's a little bit of water dripping down. And Peter, do you know anything about this? Well, while Peter's finding out, let me tell you a little bit about this. This is Hollywood rain. High up above, there's some high-pressure water nozzles that shoot the water out and over the canyon in a crisscross pattern to make it look like a natural rain effect. Scene 1, take 2. Production crew. Production crew, this is a tour shuttle. Cut the scene, please. This is not a stunt shuttle. I have guests down here. Cut the scene. That didn't sound good. Whoa, okay, hold on everyone. Let's get this thing. Production crew, one was definitely more than enough for us. Well, folks, by now you know why we call this Catastrophe Canyon. Give yourselves a big round of applause. You've just survived it. You guys were great extras. Peter, we're all clear when you are. Let's get out of here before they do that again. Okay, so besides the production in which we were just in, this canyon has actually been used in the soap opera Santa Barbara, as well as the Terry Hope show, Thunder in Paradise. Also made an appearance on Sin City, the Oprah Winfrey Show, and the Rosie O'Donnell Show. I know a little bit about the special effects, so if you're around the corner, take a look over to your left. You'll see the canyon is a facade. It's a steel structure covered in wire mesh and colored cement that's been hand carved to look like natural rock formation. The network of yellow pipes carry the propane gas throughout the canyon, cause explosions and a fire. The gray pipes are responsible for carrying the water. High up above, there are 3 large holding tanks, so when we triggered that flash flood, we opened the gates to all 3 to send about 70,000 gallons of water to come crashing towards our shuttle. To further add some action to the scene, we used some high-pressured air cannons to blow the water throughout the canyon. These things are so powerful that if you took one to New York City and stuffed a basketball inside it, you could shoot it up and over the Empire State Building with room to spare. The earthquake effect was felt through a hydraulic shaker table located underneath the bridge. That was about a 5.1 on the Richter scale, just in case you're wondering. Catastrophe Canyon was designed with the help of a special effects team from Hollywood. Now, unfortunately, there really wasn't a production team that was in there, so we did that all for your enjoyment. Now, our canyon can reset and recycle itself in about 3.5 minutes, and on our busiest days, that's just enough time for another shuttle to come in and meet its fate. From the canyons of California back to the streets of New York, sit back, relax, we'll be there in a Hollywood minute. As we clear the bushes, take a look off to your right-hand side. In the clearing, you'll see a plane that has very special meaning to us here at Walt Disney World. London airports across the country is 2, 3, 4 Mickey Mouse. That's Walt Disney's personal plane. It was in that plane that Walt flew over Central Florida looking for the ideal location to build its Florida project, which of course was Walt Disney World. Now, these top secret scouting missions were so top secret that when the plane would land to refuel, Walt refused to step off the plane for fear of being recognized. Had he been recognized, the land prices around this area would have skyrocketed. If you would like to learn more about Walt Disney and the company that he founded, I suggest you try a new attraction here at our studios called One Man Stream. It's located on Mickey Avenue, right next to the Voyage of the Little Mermaid. As we round this corner, take a look off to your right. You're catching a backstage glimpse of our backlot theater, home to the Hunchback of Notre Dame. This is a live-action show based on our 34th animated feature and is ranked #1 by you, our guests, as the best show on property. If you have never seen this show, please put it on your schedule today. There's one left at 5:30. It's an absolutely wonderful Broadway-style musical that your entire family will enjoy. Looks like we're pulling back into New York City, but take a closer look at these buildings. Oddly enough, these are just facades. They are, however, designed with Florida weather in mind and can withstand hurricane-force winds of up to 100 miles an hour. Want something fun to do? Go up to one of those buildings and knock on it. You'll notice it's hollow. Out through the archway and down at the end of the street, you can see the skyline of New York City, right here in Orlando. This is done through a trick called forced perspective, and all the skyscrapers in the background are nothing more than painted flats. As you know, the real Empire State Building does stand over 100 stories tall. Ours, just over 4. Peter says 5, but that's another story. Unfortunately, this does bring us to the end of our tour. Today we'll be dropping you off at the American Film Institute Showcase. They are currently featuring an exhibit called Dress to Thrill, Fashionable Women in Film. Some of the leading ladies of the golden era of Hollywood, such as Vivian Leigh, Shirley Temple, Marilyn Monroe, Elizabeth Taylor, Ava Gardner, Rita Hayworth, many others have costumes and accessories from their films inside. You definitely do not want to miss this exhibit, and in fact, you can't miss it. It's the one and only entryway back into the park, of course upon the shuttle and through the sliding blue doors. On behalf of your driver, Peter, my name is Stephanie, and that's Nate out there on the dock. I'd like to thank